singing in public because I was in a band and Tony was doing albums and everything. The rest of them, they were like, "What are you doing? Like, I got hired to be an actor. You're gonna make me sing, and I'm gonna ruin my career." Like, Sarah asked if she could juggle chainsaws. Literally, like, I would rather juggle chainsaws than have to sing. My whole career is done. And the thing is, I didn't mind singing. I just thought that the songs were terrible. Because this is the thing. Joss gave us a cassette of him singing the songs. And as a singer, Joss is like a really good writer. You know what I mean? So we got this weird cassette where he's just plunking on the piano singing these songs. And it sounded, I'm sorry, it sounded cheesy. It just did.
I think as well, you have to remember you have one of the best lines where when Spike was kind of like, "Oh, I wish Buffy would die," and then the 2-second change of, "I better help her out." It's my favorite part. So cheesy or not?
Yeah. No, it wasn't cheesy. I was wrong. I was wrong. Like what? It's like it doesn't matter how good a song is or a script is. If it's performed poorly, it looks cheesy. And the worst thing in the world is bad Shakespeare. Not even Shakespeare can withstand bad acting, right? So Joss just didn't serve his own material very well. Yeah. And that moment that you like, that was not my idea. That was Joss.
What? Just take it as your idea.
That was my idea. That's all me.
Thank you so
That's all
much.
me. Yeah, my pleasure.
We love that as we claim it as our own. Massive round of applause. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left on questions, so we'll get through as many as we possibly can in 5 before we go on for our full-on Superman quiz.
Holy
so let's see what we've got, good sir.
I was literally fantastic. What I was going to ask is, obviously, as you mentioned, doing Tony Allen's background prior to Buffy, who was the robot and things like that. Did you have any input to the songs or anything?
Zero input. Like, I didn't know how to do Rest in Peace. I was like, how do I approach this? So I started playing it on the guitar, and it all just clicked into place. And I went up to Joss and I was like, "Dude, this is how to do the song." And I started ripping it. And he's like, "Well, yeah, that's if Nirvana did it." And I was like, "Exactly!" And he was like, "No, this is not Nirvana, James. We're not going to do it like that." So we didn't have any input at all.
Would you mind, if we have time, to sing a little bit of Rest in Peace?
Oh, I don't even remember. Let me rest in peace. Let me get some sleep. Let me take my love and bury it in a hole 6 foot deep. I can lay my body down, but I can't find my sweet release. Let me rest in peace. So no, I'm not gonna do this.
There is an exclusive for you, Comic Con Scotland. We are James Marsters.
This is why I have friends who don't care about the TV show, because I'm gonna be like, I'm rocking.
You wait till you get back and tell all your plumber mates that you sang Rest in Peace on stage in front of hundreds. Love it.
Hello, love. Good to see you again.
Hi, my name is Secret. I don't know what you're asking. My question is, if there was another season of Buffy, would you act in it?
In a heartbeat. But like, I'm old now, so like, Spike is a vampire, so I'd be like, what happened to Spike, you know? Oh, I'm just very, very tired, you know? No, the only way I can do it is if like, Spike gets stuck in vamp face, and he just can't get out of it. Like some spell where he's horrifically ugly, you know, then it would work. But yeah, I would love to, yeah, definitely.
I love reading my favorite character.
Oh, brilliant. Love you too.
Oh, that was so sweet. Love that. We're flowing from one to another. Love it. Right, let's see what we've got.
Hi James. Oh my god, I forgot my question. Oh yeah. Do you still speak to any of the cast members?
Yeah, you know, I see them at conventions a lot. And I email Sarah. We email back and forth bragging about our kids. But I always win. Because my kids are like 10 years older than her kids. So she's like, my kids just learned how to bake brownies. And I'm like, oh, that's very cool. My son just came back from China. Boom! Yeah, so yeah, we do talk.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Oh, we are flowing through them, aren't they? Great. Amazing. Yes.
Spike's a really morally dynamic character, and it's arguable whether or not he actually has actual redemption. Do you think that he does?
I do. Well, I think that he starts on a road to redemption. I don't know if he's redeemed, but the very end of it, when Buffy says, "I love you," and he says, "No, you don't, but thanks for saying it." I think what he's saying is, Buffy, you can't love me. You feel sorry for me. You're attracted to me because I am quite hot, but you can't love me. You're a hero, and I'm realizing now that I have a soul that I'm a really horrible person. I've done horrible things, and so I think he's finally self-aware at that point, and that's why I love that line, because I'm like, oh, there's hope for him. I think he's going to go out to the world and try to figure out what to do with his soul and basically grow up. And as soon as he does that, he's coming back for Buffy for sure, you know. But yeah, I think he's like 1 foot on the road to redemption at the end of that. My pleasure.
Loving these questions. It's good. We like these. I want to just take a moment to truly acknowledge the grandeur that is this suit in front of me. No, do it. Pirouettes, so I let everybody can see. Round of applause. Love that. Embrace this moment, good sir, it's all yours.
It could be argued that Spike is the character that has the biggest development from where he started to the last episode of Angel. How was it for you as a performer when you first got that script to see that he was going to go out and actually choose to have a soul and how it was going to progress from there? When you first saw that on the page, what emotions did it bring up in you?
By the time that script came along, I was terrified to read any new scripts. Like, there came... Okay, usually if you're in television, once you do one episode, you know what you're going to do all the rest of the time, because they don't really vary too much in television. But on Buffy, it's like, what is happening next? And I was... They had me do some things that I was very uncomfortable doing. And it got to the point where the new script would come and I'd be like, you know, what am I going to have to show or what I go through? And so by the time I was getting my soul back, I was in therapy. Like, all the stuff they made me do that sent me into therapy. It was a really good therapist, so like that's why I'm happy today. But I was a little bit crumbled by that point. Yeah, so. yeah.
Awesome question.
Well, it hurt me too. It hurt you guys to watch it sometimes, but it hurt to actually go through that. Yeah.
I don't think there was a moment that it ever hurt us to watch it. We were just so wrapped up in it. It was just next level. Speaking of next level, let's come in with another question, and hopefully we can get one more behind you before we get to the young lady who we have classed as our super fan, which unfortunately, guys, will probably be our last questions. So let's know what we've got. Let's see what we've got.
Okay, this kind of follows from the last two questions. I saw an interview recently where you talked about how Joss had been frustrated by the reaction to Spike in the early days, because Spike was meant to be likeable, Spike was meant to be evil, and Spike was not meant to be cool. And Spike was meant to be defeated, and then that kind of changed. And I just wonder how you felt about that at the time, and kind of navigating that dilemma of kind of what Spike started out being and then what he became.
Yeah, I was supposed to die in 5 to 10 episodes, and I was very poor, and I had moved to Los Angeles to feed my son, who was just born, and I wanted 10 episodes. And so they explained to me that Spike was a soulless vampire who didn't love or care about anything, and I was like, righto, and they turned their back. I was like, F that. Like, if I play it like that, I'm only getting 5 episodes. I want to connect with the audience, so I have to find the love right away. And it was the love for Drusilla that I hooked into. So I basically undercut the whole theme of Buffy from the very beginning because I wanted to get paid. Yeah.
If that does